Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here with Nirmal Savarimutu, who is the Chief Commercial and Experience Officer for Virgin Voyages. And this is the last of our series on Virgin Voyages. And we wanted to talk to Nirmal about the whole ethos of Virgin Voyages, how it came to be, and really get you excited about this for your clients as you look to book Virgin Voyages later this year and into 2022. And we're going to find out about all this and more with Nirmal on Insider Travel Report. Now, first of all, Nirmal, how are you and where are you?
Oh, hi, James. Thank you for having me. I'm great, thank you. I'm in Florida. I'm based out of Boca Raton. Our office is in Plantation, Florida. I'm well, actually. I'm actually quite excited. I'm excited because we're gearing up for launch and gearing up for get our ship in the water finally. Mm-hmm. I think the world is in such a different place now, and vaccines have been a game changer for everyone. And so it's just wonderful to see smiling crew returning to our ships and just the excitement across the business to get back in the water and really show the world what it means to set sail the Virgin Way. It's exhilarating. So very excited.
No, we're all excited for you, and we're looking forward to it. We've been waiting with bated breath for over a year now, which it's hard to wait for bated breath for a year. It's you sort of run out of breath after a while. But let's talk, because you've really been in on this from the beginning. Let's talk about how you developed the concept for Virgin Voyages. Why did you believe Virgin could really develop a cruise brand, and what was it like to bring that idea to life?
Yeah, so. I've been fortunate to work for Richard and the family now for over 15 years. So I started Virgin Group about 15 years ago with the real goal of helping invest Richard's money, but really start all the new businesses for him. So helped create Virgin America. Sure, you flew Virgin America way back when. Yes. Helped start Virgin Hotels. The team that I was part of, not directly, but who sat next to me, helped create Virgin Galactic, our space tourism company. So we really took on this ambition, really pushed by Richard to start new businesses for him.
Right.
And so about 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think it is, Richard had been wanting to start a cruise line for a very long time. And he tells this story about he was in his 20s and he wanted to start a cruise line in his 30s and his 40s, and eventually time got away from him. He's now in his 70s and we have a cruise line up and running, or about to be up and running. And so he's very excited about it. And one of the reasons why he's so excited about this business, and one of the reasons why we're also passionate about it, is that at Virgin, we've always tended to look for these industries that have the hallmarks of where we're most successful. So businesses that tend to be dominated by one or two players who tend to overlook a particular segment, and where there's room in the market to come in and offer a fresh perspective, one that's a bit more targeted at a particular kind of customer, one where we can use our brand to cut through and really offer a more upscale, more refined, but very approachable experience at the same time. And this formula we've applied through the years has created $8 billion businesses, from Virgin Atlantic to Virgin Galactic to Virgin Media, Virgin Money, a whole bunch of different businesses. And so we feel very confident. We think that the market is looking for a product like this. And so Richard is really, really excited about it. And he thinks that much like Virgin Atlantic and Virgin America showed the way to fly more glamorously, we think we can show how to sail more glamorously with Virgin Voyages. So very big excitement from Richard. He's thoroughly thrilled that we finally managed to make it happen.
Yeah, well, we are very excited as well, and we think definitely from everything we've seen that it's going to be an amazing product. But how have you kind of developed this kind of cruise brand that you think reflects the Virgin ethos? What went into the thinking about that?
Well, I'm hoping that we have created something that reflects the Virgin ethos, but I'm a bit biased. I guess our sailors, our first mate, our travel agent partners, and our crew members will tell us eventually if we've done that. A lot of different things go into creating a Virgin business. The first place that we always start is actually our crew. We don't talk about it a lot, but Richard has a very simple saying that if you treat your crew well, they'll treat your passengers or your customers, in our case, our sailors, well. And as a result, your bottom line will be happy and your shareholders will be happy. So it's a very simple saying, but actually something we really follow. And so the first place we started was how to make sure we could create a wonderful experience for our crew. And there's a lot of things that we do that we haven't talked about. We offer our crew free Wi-Fi. We have, I think, the highest single berth accommodation ratio in the industry. So just things to make sure that our crew are positioned for success. And so I won't bore you with all the details of that, but just know that's a fundamental tenet of how we think about creating Virgin business and making sure we bring that Virgin ethos to life. And then on the sailor side, we tend to follow a very strict. We tend to map out all of the touch points along the sailor journey. And it's very much a Virgin formula. Again, why we tend to work better in these industries that are much more service-oriented with lots of touch points, because we're able to go in and look at every aspect of the experience and look to see where we can add our Virgin twist. Improve pain points for things that we think need to get improved on, like lines. Lines are a big part of cruise line life. We don't think it should be part of big line cruise line life, so we create virtual queues all around our ship. We also created a ship with much small and intimate spaces. So I'll give you more detail on that in due course.
Sure.
But we also looked to say, well, where can we improve things, right? Where are people looking for more? So, and another example of that being late stays and overnights. We know that our guests and our sailors love to visit ports. That's why you go on a cruise, right? It's amazing to go out there. It's amazing to be on the ocean and visit destinations. But we think it's such a shame that you leave at 5 p.m. And so that's why we put late stays and overnights into all of our itineraries. So we put that kind of thinking all the way through the customer journey or the sailor journey, so that in reality, we've offered our Virgin twist. We've taken all the best aspects of the cruise and added our Virgin twist along the way. We have this ethos at Virgin that drives us, where we say we can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. And the formula, while it sounds like very ambitious, the formula is actually quite simple in that if you actually can go through that 50 or 100-step journey for each sailor, and you can offer these little twists along the way, some big, some small,
sure.
You can create something that really starts as a series of evolutions that feels quite revolutionary in its entirety. And you can take that ordinary and turn to the extraordinary. And I hope that ethos, as our travel agent partners, as our sailors experience us, as our crew members come work for us, I hope they'll see that and they'll reward us for it.
No, absolutely. And there definitely is going to be a difference to, as you say, set sail the Virgin way, which will be the experience you deliver that will be uniquely Virgin. Now, why do you think Virgin Voyages is so very different from, and you've had a chance to look at the other cruise brands in the market, but why do you think it is going to be different?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking to future sailors. We spent a lot of time studying the market and looking to see where we thought we fit. As I mentioned, we do think there's a big gap in the market for something like this. And put simply, we really want to create the world's most irresistible travel brand, right? We want people to walk away from our experience, our sailors to walk away from our experience and say that was the best week of their lives. Right. And so to do that, what we see as a gap in the market is being able to create the glamour of a boutique hotel, but on the ocean. Right. So what we're looking to offer is this sophisticated yet relaxed adult-only experience. Because actually, I think about it, I think there's a big gap in the market for that. Mm-hmm. I think at the bottom end of the market, you've got a lot of your kind of traditional cheap and cheerful type products. And then you have sort of the top end of the market that's much more luxurious, lots of service levels, great quality, a lot of attention to detail. But that tends to come with some rigidity, some formality, tends to come with unattainable price points. And sort of a stuffiness to the experience that I don't think today's modern consumer is looking for. I think there's a place for that, but I think for the most part, people are looking to vacation in a much more relaxed way. And we think under Set Sail the Virgin Way, we have an opportunity to come in and create this sophisticated yet relaxed product that really gives people that quality and attention to detail of a smaller ship or a more expensive ship or one that's a bit more traditional luxury, but without of the formality, right? Without having to dress up all the time, right? Of course, there are times when we all want to dress up, right? But there are other times when we don't want to dress up as much. Sometimes I know that friends of mine, for example, their jeans probably cost more than their slacks, right? So why can't they wear jeans to dinner, right? And so that kind of experience we think is really important. There are four real anchors that I think about as part of that experience. Adult only, of course, is a huge differentiator for us. We do believe that people are looking for a more elevated, sophisticated adult experience. And the fact that we can do that means that we can do things that you really can't consider in a more traditional product. So, for example, we've got hammocks on all of our balconies. You couldn't do that if you had kids in the rooms, right? We've got outdoor workout areas. We took all the areas that traditionally would be allocated to kids and teen spaces, and we converted them into outdoor workout areas. So a lot of different things that we can do because we're adult-only focused to offer something that feels more elevated and sophisticated. Another great story I'll give you, James, is when we were doing the research on this, we asked people about this because we do a lot of research when we do work for Richard. We're very, very research-based in our thinking. And we said to people, well, what if it was adults only, this Virgin Voyage experience? Right. And you could just see the light bulb go off in their head. And they immediately went to this place that was more elevated and sophisticated. They said, well, you wouldn't have to dumb things down, and you wouldn't have to, particularly things like the food, you wouldn't have to serve chicken nuggets. You could just do quality food. Now, I love chicken nuggets. There's nothing wrong with chicken nuggets. But that was sort of where people took themselves to, right? So, instead of our chicken nuggets, we have a fried chicken sandwich with a beet aioli at Razzle Dazzle that people can savor. So it's sort of
I think I'll go over that I think I'll go over for that rather than the chicken nuggets, as much as I like chicken nuggets. But I understand the concept where this is adults trying to get them to understand it. It's great.
Yeah, and I think it allows you to elevate the experience, right? When you're adult focused, and so you can focus on the quality rather than focusing and dumbing things down, right? I think the other aspects that make us different and unique for why people should try us is things. We talk a lot about boutique glamour, right? We talk about the fact that our ship is designed more like a yacht, right? It's a bit smaller, it's a bit more intimate. We have experiences on board that make you feel glamorous, no matter who you are, how old you are, young you are, whatever your walk of life is. Everyone should feel glamorous once in a while, right? Sure. We have a saying at Virgin where everyone should feel like a rock star, no matter who you are. And so we have our Shake for Champagne service where anywhere on the ship you can shake your phone and we'll deliver champagne straight to you, right? These sort of wonderful special experiences that make you feel special, make you feel like a rock star, really part of who we are. That idea I talked to you about, so this idea of luxury in a more relaxed way, we call that relaxed luxe. So offering a more kind of less stuffy, less formal, updated view of luxury, we think is a really, really important trend right now, and something that we think we can fill very, very well with our brand and our product. And I think there's a big gap in the market for that. And then we also talk about that extraordinary to extraordinary, like ordinary to extraordinary, like I said before, right? Late stays, overnights, all these little things that give us the Virgin twist. So a lot of times people sort of say to me, well, you're very different, right? And I say, well, I wouldn't say we're different. I'd say we are all the best parts of a cruise with an added Virgin twist on the end of it that makes it a little bit more focused for our kind of customer.
No, absolutely. And a lot of the things that you're doing are pretty revolutionary. Obviously, the inclusiveness, pretty much all is included except maybe some of the higher end, the drinks, the spa, of course. Adults only was a huge thing that I think you drew some criticism for, but in the end, I think it's working out for you. Now, do you have casino on this or not?
We do have a casino, actually. Yes, we have a casino that's right outside our nightclub. Actually, we have our Manor nightclub, which goes back to the days of Richard, way back when we actually had a recording studio called the Manor. And our casino is right outside that, so we're excited about that, and we think our sailors will love it.
No, and absolutely. And then, of course, you have the tattoo parlor, but that's another story if you still have that going on.
We have a lot of these experiences that look to offer just a slightly updated take on life, right? Inclusiveness is one of them you mentioned, and I think it's actually one that people overlook in some ways because, when I describe this experience, right, that luxury-like experience of a more relaxed kind of feeling, the other thing that we're also trying to address is the fact that typically those more luxurious experiences are at price points that frankly are unattainable and really go after a very small market, right? When you're talking about $800, $900, $1,000 a night, that's a different kind of market that's much smaller. We are much more democratic brand in the sense that we want a lot of people to experience our product, right? We want everyone to feel comfortable and welcome at Virgin Voyages. So we always try and focus on a price point that we believe is a bit more attainable, but we always talk about value. If you think about the way this brand started with Virgin Atlantic, it was that first class experience at a business class price. And that ethos kind of fed through all of Virgin Atlantic, whether you were sitting in the back of the bus or the plane, or the front of the plane, you still had that ethos of I'm getting value. And so value is a very important part of our equation here. We talk about making the sea fairer. So we offer more inclusive fares, on us value proposition, free Wi-Fi, you don't pay for gratuities, you don't pay for special dining up charges. Right. Essentially all of your soft drinks are included. We also offer free workouts and fitness classes in all of our fares. And so we think that offers a ton of value to people. But we go a step further than that. We also do things like make sure that all of the prices on board are very reasonable. So again, a lot of people automatically think expensive and not value and premium. And I actually said to people, actually, it's a lot about value, but offering really good stuff at very good prices, right? So all our prices on board include taxes and gratuities. 42% of our wines are under $10. Oh. So there's a very affordable way to vacation because we do believe that ultimately you've paid the money to come here, right? So things should get taken care of, right? That's what luxury should feel like to people, that all of the basics are taken care of. And I don't feel like I'm going to get nickel and dimed while I'm on board. And I know that people will hopefully feel that way when they come on board.
No, absolutely, and that is something I totally agree with in terms of what you've looked at, what you're trying to develop. Now, who is your target customer or customers for Virgin Voyages? I know, I believe you sort of identified this large, sort of somewhat younger adult demographic that really hadn't cruised before, right? And are these the people going to be happiest cruising on Scarlet Lady and your other ships?
Yeah, so this I think is one of those misperceptions that I think has developed about us, and it's lovely to be able to talk to our first mate partners and talk about this a bit more directly. I think the perception that started or followed us way back when was that this was all about young people who've never been on a cruise before,
Right?
And in reality, actually, what it really is about is people who are cruising, right? Who are just looking for that updated take on cruising, right? Who are looking for that adult experience, looking for that sophisticated yet relaxed experience, right? Who are looking for those things like late stays and overnights, who are looking for short things, for example, that are all about local immersive experiences, not big bus tours, but at affordable prices, right? I think there's a big group of people in today's market that are looking for that kind of experience.
Right.
Because, we all want the quality, we all want the attention to detail, we all want the service, but we want it in a much more relaxed environment. And I believe that there's a big market for that. And I know our travel agent partners, our first mates, if you look at hotels, if you look at gyms, if you look at restaurants, I think you see people gravitating these kinds of products, right? People pay more and are more satisfied to go to that 4-star hotel that has a much more sense of energy and vibe that's more akin to a W or a Kimpton or One Hotel, those kind of brands, right, than saying go to the Four Seasons or the Ritz. Now, there is a time to go to the Four Seasons and the Ritz, right? But that's not every vacation, right? Sometimes people say, I do want to go to something that giving that quality and attention to detail, but not as stuffy and as formal as that was. And I believe there's a big market for that. It tends to be where we've been most successful as a brand at Virgin, this premium, upscale, aspirational experience, but always remains very approachable, right? Great service, great price point, and a wonderful sort of direct, youthful kind of energy that I think is very interesting and one that I believe is a growing consumer trend and one that hopefully people will see with us when they come on board.
Well, that's good news because if you're going after a younger demographic, I don't think you'd let me on. And I would love to go on. So
you would be more than welcome, James, and I'm sure you'd love, just like anybody, you'd love to shake for champagne, right, and have some champagne delivered to you right on demand. We have a very famous 70-year-old, right, who's supposed to celebrate his birthday on board.
That's true.
His birthday got postponed. He was
supposed to have it this year, but now he has to have his 71st birthday. I heard that's what.
Yeah, I think by the unfortunately, the pandemic has just been going on forever. It seems to never end. All the vaccines, obviously, it's going to end soon. He's actually going to have to celebrate his 72nd birthday with us because it was going to be his 70th in 2020. And July this year obviously is a bit tougher. So we've actually postponed his birthday till next year, July. So his 72nd birthday will be on board Virgin.
Well, he should have stopped counting at 70 and just had his 70th birthday, 2 years later. That's
exactly. We have a lot of birthdays, actually. We've a lot of 40s, a lot of 50s. That tends to be a bit of the sweet spot. But like I said, I really want our first mate partners to know this is really for everybody. This is not about a particular age group. It's about a mindset, right? People are looking for that relaxed luxury.
Now, one of the things, how do you think your customers, your target customer might have been changed in any way due to the pandemic? Some would argue that kind of new to cruise travelers might be a little bit more reluctant now to take a cruise plunge, so to speak, because there's been so much unfortunately bad press about cruising, unjustified in my view. But some people may be a little more reluctant to do it, and we're there as a way to introduce some of these folks to cruising, I think. Do you think the pandemic has had any effect on that?
I do think it's fair to say that the pandemic has probably made it harder to attract people who've never been on a cruise before to come go on a cruise. That being said, I don't think it's changed our thinking in that we've always talked about people who've been on a cruise, right? I know there are a lot of cruises out there, and I'm sure First Mate partners know there are a lot of people in their database, a lot of their clients who would love a cruise product like this, right? Where you can stay late, you can stay overnight, you've got 20 eateries, you don't have to pay specialty dining upcharges, right? You can go to dinner in your jeans if you'd like to, no set dining times, all these sort of things, shake for champagne, all these wonderful things I talked about. So I don't believe that our strategy has changed per se. What I will tell you though is I think we actually feel quite a bit stronger about our and actually feel even more confident. I think as the world emerges from this pandemic with vaccines coming into play, people are going to look for these vacation experiences. Cruises in particular are going to look for these vacation experiences, right? And they're going to want to go on things like adult-only experiences. They're going to go on ships that make them feel special, that are more luxurious, but at that attainable price point, right? I also think that as an industry, and our first mate partners will understand this in spades, and it's one of the benefits of the cruise industry. I do think as an industry, we can create one of the safest ways to travel.
Okay.
Because we are in a bubble, right? We can make sure we control who's coming on and off the ship, right? Our crew will be fully vaccinated for all of our sailings. And, we have talked about sailor vaccine mandates and all these other things. But generally, people are going to feel very safe on board, right? All of our updated voyage well protocols will make things very safe. And so we look at the next period of time and actually feel very confident and feel like, although the pandemic has been a horrible thing for all of us, we actually think the light at the end of the tunnel is actually glowing bright. And we think we can do very well in the current market. And we're really excited for our first mates to actually come try it. I don't know if you know, James, but we've given away thousands of cruises to our first mate partners who completed our Sea Academy learning course.
I heard that.
Which we're very excited to do. We're so excited for them to come on board. And I hope as they experience it, they'll fall in love with setting sail the Virgin way.
Well, absolutely. And you're talking to someone who's already taken 3 cruises this year. So I know the whole bubble effect and had no problems whatsoever. I felt perfectly safe. And I'm sure that's going to be the case on your ship and actually in cruising in general as we emerge from this. Now, let's talk a little bit about the destinations your ships will visit in the Caribbean and Mediterranean. How did you decide on those initially? And how will you expand your ports of call as we roll out 3 ships really in 2 years, right?
Yeah. We've got 3 ships coming online in the next 12 to 18 months, which is really exciting actually, because it's so exciting to have a lot of product on the shelf. I know our first mate partners in particular have said to us, we'd love to see more product on the shelf from you. So that's really exciting. We tend to pick our itineraries and our destinations very carefully. Late stays and overnights is something we're committed to in all of our itineraries. So whenever we're developing our itineraries, that's the first thing we look at, is what are our late stays and overnight opportunities? Because again, like I said, we believe that that's what our customers are looking for. We also try to focus a lot on the shore excursions. We call them shore things. Make sure we can create interesting, local-based shore experiences. Because again, a lot of people, it's wonderful being out on the ocean and cruising, but you're also going for the destinations, right? And we want to make sure that our sailors can experience those destinations in a very unique way. So all of our shore things are developed with no big bus tours, very, very local, very, very hype-focused on really seeing the destination, experiencing the destination, but we also limited all the markups, so they're very well attractive price. So if we can't create a really robust shore things program, then we typically won't go that destination. If we can't create late stays and overnights, we typically won't factor that into our thinking. And then we always try to look for places where we can take advantage of the fact that our ship is just a bit smaller than all the other ships out there, right? Our ship is 110,000 tons, so she can actually get into places that other places people can't go. So we look to try and take advantage of that as well, where we can. But as we roll out these 3 ships, there are going to be a lot more interesting, exciting destinations to come. Scarlet Lady is on a 554 sailing pattern out of the Caribbean, a short sailing out of the Caribbean. Valiant Lady, she's in the Caribbean in the winter. In the summer, she's in the Med out of Barcelona. And we just announced our 3rd ship, Resilient Lady, is going to be out of Athens doing 7-night Greece and Croatia and other itineraries next year. We haven't quite told everyone what she's doing in the winter yet, but that's going to come very soon, James. And I don't want to get in trouble here for my marketing team and say something.
Oh, just between us. How about that?
I've been well briefed by our marketing team, James, on these things. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to. We have a session with our sales team that our first mates probably listen to called "Spill the Tea." And with John and Shane, our 2 sales leaders. And unfortunately, those 2 guys are always spilling the tea and getting their knuckles wrapped afterwards. So I'm not going to fall in that same trap today.
There you go. Well, we do go out to a few travel advisors out in the market. So if they're watching this, you don't want to give them anything quite yet until you're ready. So I totally understand. Let's talk a little bit about, many of the folks that are working on Virgin Voyages really don't have like yourself, don't have a traditional cruise background. Right. And you come out of Virgin Group. Do you think this has helped you create this uniquely different product from what's in the market today?
I actually really do. And I fundamentally believe it has helped us. At Virgin, we've always had this view that you benefit from diversity, and diversity is a strength. And so on purpose, one of the things we did here was make sure we hired a group of people with lots of diverse backgrounds, experiences professionally, but also just experiences personally, right? People who've come from lots of different places, because we have a very fundamental tenet that diversity is something that we should be diving into, right? And we should be leveraging diversity to help us. So we've got people here who've worked at Virgin. We've got people here that have worked in the cruise industry before. We've got people that have neither worked at Virgin or the cruise industry. And we brought them all together. And we really focused on making sure we could get the best out of everybody, right? And so as a result, you see a lot of things that are different, right? And we've seen the benefit of that in lots of different places. Our designers, for example, have never worked on cruise ships before.
Right.
And so you see the design that's come to life, which is this yacht-inspired design that from world-class designers that have designed wonderful boutique hotels from around the world or wonderful restaurants from around the world. And the ship, I think, has come to life in a beautiful way as a result of that. But we also see it with people who've been in the industry before, believe it or not, where they felt like for whatever reason, they couldn't affect the change they wanted to from other places. I mean, a great example of that is our travel First Mate partners might know Frank Weber, who's our SVP of Hotel Operations, used to be at Royal Caribbean and NCL. Frank had a lot of wonderful ideas for what the food program and the drinks program. One of the great ones that I can think of is our bar tab, which is our answer to a drinks package.
Right.
And I think James, I'm sure James, drinks packages are something that people tend to buy, but they're very restrictive and they tend not to be a great experience, right? Everyone in the cabin has to buy them. You can't buy drinks for your friends. And frankly, I think they tend to be a bit overpriced. And Frank has always had the ambition to try and remove these things because they create such bad incentives. They also mean that you have to water down all your product. When you have got drinks packages out there as an operator, you've got to lower everything down, right? You've got to water down all your product because it's impossible now in a more kind of all you can drink like environment to offer quality. And so Frank sat down and said, well, how can we offer something similar but in a different way? And he together with our experience team, they came up with Bar Tab, where essentially you can prepay for all your drinks. You can put $300 down and get another $50 for free from us, so $350 of purchasing power that essentially mimics a drink package, but now you can spend on anything you want. You don't have to buy a glass of wine that's under $9. You can buy a $20 glass of wine. You can buy a bottle of Dom Perignon if that's what you're after, right? And not everyone in your cabin has to do it, right? Those are these great examples where it really just isn't about thinking from outside the industry. It's about how to get a group of people to work together with lots of different ideas. And a lot of the great ideas actually come from people who understand the business, understand the industry. And they say, well, can we do something like this? And we all work together to do it. And this bar tab one is such a great example of that. Another one that I don't want to keep talking about Frank, another great one that Frank did was this idea of creating bespoke kitchens for all of our eateries. So, traditional cruise ship environments, it's one big banquet style kitchen that's servicing a big banquet hall or 2 banquet halls or 3 banquet halls. Right? But the reality of that is that you've got to mass produce the food, right, to get it out. Frank said, no, I don't want to do mass produced food because A, it's a lot of waste, and B, I can't control the quality. Let's go to a model where we have dedicated kitchens and a dedicated executive chef for each one of our restaurants, so we can create made-to-order food now instead of banquet mass-produced food. And that completely changes the quality of the food on board, right? And makes it we can also invest in that, but because we've lowered the waste associated with it, we can take those dollars and reinvest them in better quality food. And it's that kind of thinking that has gone into really building this business that I think makes us really special. And that's where that ethos of the ordinary to extraordinary really starts to come to life, when you can harness that kind of thinking and really get it out there. It makes me very excited, actually, to talk about things. And I can go on forever about all this kind of examples.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's good to know that if I go into a bar in Scarlet Lady, I can say, drinks all around, right? And it's on me.
I'm going to make sure I'm there when you do that. Make sure you buy that bar tab beforehand.
Interestingly enough, too, is your president, Tom McAlpin, comes from a traditional cruise background, but it's not so traditional when you think about it, because he was at Disney Cruise Line. And they were trying to revolutionize the market back then. I remember I was around back then when Disney launched and met Tom back then, and they were trying to do something different. And here he is overseeing yet again. He's got a lot of experience, and he can decide what he wants, certainly advise and recommend things that will work, right?
No, it's been fantastic, actually. And Tom's my boss. He's our president CEO, and it's been wonderful working with him. But he does push us, right? He pushes us to say, what can we do, right? What should we be doing different, right? Because look, not everything needs to be different. I think that's the other thing that sometimes people forget, right? When we do these Virgin businesses, and Tom, given his experience at Disney, is a very, very strong on this, is you don't have to fix all the things. You fix the things that are broken, you keep the things that work really well, right? People love being on the ocean, they love being on a cruise. Let's offer that to them, right? But let's fix the stuff that can be better. Let's do outdoor workout areas. Let's do stays and overnight. Let's do hammocks on balconies, things like that, right? That give it a delightful twist. And so that much the same formula that Virgin had, Tom and Disney had a very similar, actually. So when Tom decided to be our CEO, we were all thrilled because the two brands share a very, very strong ethos of how to do this properly. And so much like Disney is the go-to brand in the family market, we believe we can be that go-to brand in the adult market, particularly if you're traveling without kids. We think we would love all our first mates to really consider us, and we believe we should be part of that consideration set. And I hope our first mates will really consider us when they think about that with their clients.
Well, I think in an earlier interview, we were talking about this where a lot of your designers, as you mentioned earlier, were coming from outside the cruise business. They had all these great ideas, but they had to have that marine architect which sort of said, nah, you can't really do that on a ship as much as you want to, but let's do it this way. And so that's kind of the creativity that comes to bear that you've brought into the market here. So I'm very happy to hear that that's what's going on. Is there anything else you want to tell your first mates, the travel advisors who are viewing, about Virgin Voyages, about the experience that it'll deliver, and maybe how they should be selling this rather unique product?
Well, I mean, to all our first mate partners, the first thing I can say, thank you. Thank you for wanting to know more about us. Thank you for learning about us. And thank you for your support. I know it's been a very traumatic year for all of us in travel. And our first mate partners have been there with us all the way. And we're just excited to be back in service again soon and to be able to really show them, the benefit of their support. So first of all, I'd say thank you. Mm-hmm. We spent a lot of time over the last 12 months or so reflecting also on, are we offering the best possible experience to our first mates? Just the same way I talked about, are we doing it for our crew or doing it for sailors? We thought about it for our first mates as well. And we came out with a new set of policies around brilliant to do business with, which I'm sure you've touched on in other videos. And, 16% flat commission, no NCFs, paying on all bookables, that bar tab, James, that you're going to purchase when you come on board with us.
That's right.
If you book through a travel agent or booked, whether you book it yourself or whether your travel agent partner books it for you, your travel agent is going to get commissioned on it, which I think is phenomenal when you think about it, right? In that,
absolutely.
It just shows our intimate commitment to our first mates, and their client is their client. And so I hope that they'll see that as they get to know us a bit better. And overall, I just say, I ask for their business and say, please, we know that ultimately putting one of their clients on with us has to come with a lot of trust, right? And trust that we will deliver a great experience to them. We're confident we can do that. We're confident of the Virgin brand and all of the different things we've done in the past, and that ethos I talked about before, and some of the fundamental formula for how we create these businesses. We'll make sure we do deliver the best week of their sailors' lives. We'll make sure that those sailors walk off feeling like a rock star. But I do understand that initially it's a bit difficult for them to say, why should I put my trusted client on a new product, right? And I say, what I say to them is, I ask for the business and say, trust us. We will take care of you. We will take care of your sailors. But ultimately, we believe we've got a great product. We can't wait for the world to experience it. When we can't wait for everyone to understand what it's like to set sail the Virgin way, I think it's going to be very special.
Well, we can't wait either. I can't wait to get on in September, October, whenever I get on. Looking forward to picking up that bar tab for you. It looks like I'm already committed to that. So that sounds great. And again, I think this has been a great series to kind of get our travel advisors, your first mates, to better understand exactly how it is, what it's like to sail the Virgin way and what the experience is going to be. So thank you for taking the time today to help us understand Virgin Voyages and the upcoming new Scarlet Lady.
Thank you, James. And thank you to all our First Mate partners for taking the time to get to know us better. Check us out on firstmates.com, right? And we hope to see everyone soon on board. And James, don't forget to text me when you're in that bar with your bar tab. I'll make sure to hang around.
There you go. Just hang around. Well, just pick up the most expensive drink you can, and then it'll be fine. Okay. Anyway, I'm James Shillinglaw, who may be a little bit more broke by the time although I have that drinks package. It's fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
And the drinks packages are very attainable, James. I've told you.
Anyway, I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.